trading a retrace is far easier to trade from a risk to reward point of view.
Right. So similar to your concept with the pound, it's like I'd like this thing to the upside, but I'm a pullback trader similar to yourself.
This looks like a little bit of exhaustion. So if it closes like this, we might be able to see some, that test you want back here at the 2017 or 2010 or 2015.
When you talk UJ, as you pointed out, from a resistance level on the higher time frames, that 150 kind of secular level where we've seen several times, or in last major time we were there, we saw a huge pushback from the Bank of Japan, and also people thought the Fed was going to be done with rate hikes sooner than they were. But both of those things caused the dollar yen to reject heavily. And if you catch another one of those moves, Tom, I mean, the downside for dollar yen, could very quickly be upwards of 1,000 pips. It just, of course, you take it one step at a time. But as traders, Frank made a point recently, you got to be careful with your super long-term predictions if you're trying to really trade. But what do you think, Frank? What charts are you watching today? Any yen pairs? Or I know you were talking a lot about gold. What do you think about that breakout?
That's funny. We're talking about yen pairs. I just wrote a newsletter on all of them because we got Euro, Canada, and New Zealand coming out with big news. So trading that against the yen, I think, is going to be a potential winner here. But on a technical scale, so I've been attempting to buy Euro yen and taking small losses. So I think I'm going to keep trying, just depending on how this reacts to this wedge pattern that's forming right here. Rejection from the lows looks strong. I'm honestly kind of looking for at least the completion to the top of this and hoping for a breakout higher. So what we need here is, on a technical scale, everything looks like it wants to go higher, but I think we're just gonna have to wait for the CPI numbers tomorrow, and it's coming in mixed. German is expected to drop, I believe. German CPI is supposed to come down, Spanish CPI is supposed to go up, so mixed. But I think what we need to see is ideally a beat in both of them, just higher than expected CPI. But other than that, I'm not really sure, because I missed the move on gold. I never took a trade because I was looking at a deep pullback, and that just never happened. So gold took off.
I missed it too, Frank. Don't worry about it. I've been wanting that trade for a minute now, and I was a little bit surprised though. The COT reading on the Edge Finder. Oh, look at that move! It's exploding in front of our eyes now. Tom, I got to get your technical breakdown on gold in just a second, so I'm coming to you. But in terms of gold, Frank, I was looking at the COT data, and it's like you've got this increase overall, but despite that, it's not getting a favorable score. We did get that latest COT in there, by the way. We got the update going. The USD is still just hanging in there in terms of just a net very bullish asset, which I wonder, I was looking to see if the dollar would get some change there, but again, hanging in there, not seeing a big sell-off in COT. So we're not getting a super favorable gold score this week, but despite that, gold still running really hot. And I think, from a fundamental perspective, despite COT, I still like it long, and I think that it has room to run. So Tom, I want to go to you back on gold. Like I said, I would. What do you think about gold from a technical analysis perspective? Is there room for this to keep running, or is it due for a pullback? What do you think?
Did you know our market scanning software, the Edge Finder, just got even better? Check out our newest asset, Bitcoin. That's right, Bitcoin was our most requested feature update, and we're so excited to announce Bitcoin is finally here with plans to add even more crypto in the future. We've also updated our most popular feature, the Smart Money Tracker, adding even more data than before. The Edge Finder not only automatically scores 8 different metrics for each asset to give it an overall buy, sell, or neutral score, but it also keeps track of bank and analyst positioning, stores historical fundamental data, shows how assets are trending throughout the day, and so much more. Right now, our YouTube viewers can get the Edge Finder at a discounted price when they use promo code A1YT. You can check out the Edge Finder with the link down in the description below, and again, get it for the special discounted price when you use promo code A1YT at checkout.
So this was a trade idea that we looked at this morning, and we were seeing a daily break of a daily high here, a weekly high even here, and we saw this bullish candle, and then we're interested. And this has room to move into. Okay, so if you zoom out, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my mouse today. I've got man flu as well. Everything's going wrong today. But we still got a bit of room to move into up to this grey zone. I have quite a conservative target here, really, but it could go more into this grey zone, and test some of these levels. So gold has room to move into, which is what we like. And if we just quickly compare that with silver, silver's move is hitting resistance already. Yeah, so silver's not a trade idea for me because we're already hitting this level. Okay, but gold definitely was this morning. If we go back to gold now, and it's got room to move into. Like, the problem is just that move. I mean, this is the H4 chart, and we were looking for break. Let's drop down to the H1 actually. We were looking for breaks of this level. Yeah, I put these grey zones in earlier on, and we were looking for a break. But when you get a break like this, it's difficult to trade for me because if you catch price here, you catch price here. Maybe you're a H4 trader or a H1, wherever you're catching price, you're stopped. You put your stop below here. You put your stop below here. It becomes harder to trade. I'm a retrace trader, not a breakout trader. I will trade breakouts now and again, but this is clearly a breakout trade. Yeah. So if I miss it, I miss it, no problem. But what I will wait for is a retrace back to these lows. If we start, get a bullish reaction in here, then it's just. Trading a retrace is far easier to trade from a risk to reward point of view, from how large your stop loss needs to be, the room you potentially have to move into. Everything's easier. And, this is what I'm waiting for with gold. I've, missed this initial move. Would I have got into that anyway? Probably not. I would have still waited for a retrace, and I'm still waiting for a retrace. So still want to buy gold. Nothing's changed. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity and setup.
I like that. I
think.
Go ahead, Frank.
Sorry, if you go to the 30-minute time frame, looking at what's going on there, ignore all those lines. That's just some mess that I need to remove. But so if we get a close like this or somewhere similar, even if it comes back to break even, this looks like a little bit of exhaustion. So if it closes like this, we might be able to see some, that test you want back here at the 2017 or 2010 or 2015 level. So the runs on gold are very harsh, and then they come back slowly and then they take off again. So maybe you'll see that test here.
Yeah, and to your point there, Frank, you also you have that the green and red zone, which is a top secret thing we're working on here at A1. But tell us a little bit about it. It's not actually a secret, but we're working on a volume indicator. Those big green candles, obviously pretty meaningful, decisive moves. Give us the bird's eye view of what that green and red represents.
So the green and red candles, or the bars around the candles, represent volume spikes in that time frame. So we've seen 3 green bars in a row, suggesting that there's a lot of buying to the upside in this particular area. But I think if you really want to look at it from a longer term standpoint, if you pull up the daily chart and you continue to see sparse buying here and there without any selling, and then another couple candles of buying, that suggests that these are real market moves. It's not just some blip in retail or whatever. This is big money, or it's both big and retail money going into this. So they're not necessarily like saying, if you see a spike here, it's not really telling you anything. But when you look at these bars that are green or red, they suggest when there's a large amount of money going to the upside or downside. So this helps you tell if the trend is kind of promising or not. So if you see a giant spike with no volume, that doesn't really tell you much. But if you see big spikes or longer term trends to the upside with green bars, that's telling you, yeah, there's a lot of buying going on. So this to me looks like in the past month or two that there's just been a lot of buying, and until that changes, I think gold is probably going to keep going higher, and it's already broken that head and shoulders pattern. It's now has that as support here at 2010. So I think gold is going to keep moving higher. We just have to find the right time.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for that breakdown, Frank. And again, we're working on some trading view tools at A1. There's no secret. We're still in R&D mode, and we're still doing a lot of programming behind the scenes. But if you guys would like updates on that, if Chandler, if you don't mind dropping the Telegram link for us, if you guys would like to keep up, we can also find it there. We also have news here in 30 seconds, so let me not miss it. I am pretty good at missing the news. So we've got consumer confidence coming in 20 seconds or so. And then, Tom, I'm going to come to you with euro dollar and pound dollar in reference to what we just talked about with the dollar moves. We've got gold breaking out. I'm sure a lot of traders here are curious about what's going on with the pound, but we got breaking news. So breaking news coming in now. All right, I'm waiting for the number here. Consumer confidence could potentially be market moving. Of course, the consumer, a big component. There it is, 102 coming in compared to 101. So a slight beat there in terms of consumer confidence. Doesn't seem to be moving the market too much. We'll go to the dollar index here. Dollar index still just trending lower. Cannot seem to catch a bid is the dollar. And speaking of that, again, not a huge reaction in terms of volatility spike, but some things are moving anyway. So, Tom, what do you think about all this move on euro dollar? I know it's similar, right, to gold, right? It's doing a lot of the same price action. Euro, pound. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, okay. But let's start with pound US dollar, as that is my mother country, currency. And we'll start with the weekly chart. So, this US dollar weakness has just, exploded. We had literally weeks of US dollar weakness, US dollar strength, and now we're seeing, this US dollar weakness come through. And pound US dollar in particular is at a very interesting weekly level. Yeah, you can see where price has reacted before at this level. So I'm looking at this level not to say that, US dollar weakness is over, but with moves like this, you are, due a retrace. Yeah, you're due some kind of retrace. It's such a bullish move. And, the more bullish the move, it's like an elastic band. Normally, the bigger the retrace. So, could this be an area where we see a retrace with US dollar strength? So we're at an interesting level here. If we look at the day chart, things are very overbought. Even if I wanted to buy pound US dollar, I'm not going to buy it up here. Yeah, firstly, we're at a resistance level and there's no value. Yeah, if you wanted to buy pound US dollar, there's value here. There's value here on the retrace, but up here, there's none. So, how I trade, I need to be with the daily trend. Okay. And when we're in a daily trend, at a weekly resistance level, I pretty much know I won't have a trade for a while. Yeah, because I need really daily structure to break down for me to take any sells from this weekly level. And as you know, a daily structure break can take days, weeks. So, this is if I'm in a daily uptrend at a resistance level, I know I won't have a trade for a while. And if I'm in a daily downtrend at a weekly support level, again, I won't have a trade for a while. And it's the same with pound US dollar. But that's why, we look at 28 currency pairs, indices, commodities to find a trade.
Something to pay attention to. I like that point. And also, I'm the same way, Tom. If something is trending up, and it's at a resistance level, there's no trade there for me, right? So similar to your concept with the pound, it's like I'd like this thing to the upside, but I'm a pullback trader similar to yourself. And so for me, it's like, okay, if 1.2560 comes into play, shoot me a message and I'll take a look at the pound. But until then, there's nothing to do on this one. However, while we're on the topic of pound, I am long pound yen. I've got to stop just below this low here. I was able to catch this last night during the Asian session. Took this one shortly before I went to bed. I saw it on the edge finder. It was a setup. I pulled it up on the chart. It was pulling right back to support. So I picked it up. So far looking pretty good. I like this one to the upside. I think that if you're looking at this thing from a trend line perspective, we got to see if this thing can break resistance here. But if it does break, I'm looking at trail stops further into profit. But currently, nice little push there. I did have a pound CAD trade as well that ended up trailing out. So I had a pound CAD trade, which there it goes. I was stopped out, trailed out. My initial entry has been going for a little while. So an interesting time for sure. Tom, you mentioned that dollar had been going up for weeks. That was like the risk off environment that we were in. And now it seems to be the flip side. That dollar downtrend has cued a risk on environment where things like stocks are up, pound pairs are up. And it's honestly, it's a nice change of pace because we had been in a risk off environment for like the last few years have been mostly risk off. Despite like a couple stocks doing really well in the tech sector. But regardless, it's been an interesting time.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free Edge Finder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.